Hello, students of the 2019 fall semester Business 1360 Software Apps for Business class. I want to take a couple moments and talk about the SLO test. First of all, I want to look at the syllabus and talk about the 45-point required SLO quiz that you'll take at the end of the semester. I want to discuss with you what are the 5 SLOs for the course. I want to talk to you about the schedule, and let's review our class schedule together so that we can understand when that SLO quiz is required. And of course, you're going to want to know, how do I prepare? And so I want to review with you the SLO practice quiz in Pause, which is a study tool. Alrighty. So here we are in our course, and we can at any time go to Content. And under Content, we have this category Syllabus, Schedule, and My IT Lab. And we could click on, for example, Syllabus. Here's our schedule that we have, the registration information, all that good kind of stuff. So let's, we could click on, let's see, what do I want to go into first? I'm sorry, I really want to go into the syllabus first. Now, when you go to the syllabus, what you can do is look across the top. You can download it and save it as a PDF, which is something I've done already, but you can click on Assessment and Grading, and you'll see already this SLO pretest, and you may remember that from the start of the semester when I gave you as homework this pretest as an introduction into the course concepts. It allowed me to get a benchmark for where you were at the start of the semester. And then of course we have this SLO post-test, and notice that it says it's in My Southwest but not Pause. It says, given in the last class, this quiz contains 15 multiple choice questions. The purpose is to assess your knowledge as we complete the class as it relates to the identified student learning objectives for this course. Students earn 3 points per question for a total of 45 points for completing the assignments. You will have only one attempt to preserve the integrity of the quiz. In other words, I don't let you have multiple attempts, and that is something that is a college-wide policy, and it is designed to protect the integrity of the quiz. You must be present in class, and this quiz cannot be made up. So students must be present at the time the quiz is started to earn the points. Students will not be allowed to make up the test, okay? All right. So this is what we're preparing for, and this is what we're talking about. And let me scroll down the syllabus a little bit more, because what I want you to see is, where does it fall in? There, I'm sorry, I'm overlooking. I was like, where is it? I was looking for it at the end of the semester. Here it is. It's the SLO post-test, and there it is at 45 points. Okay, so this is, this is what we're studying for. This is what we're preparing for. So that's the syllabus, and explains the test a little bit to you. But let's talk about what are those 5 SLOs for our course. So if we go back to the syllabus, and I don't mean to make you seasick here, but I am going to go up towards the very top. In fact, let me just go all the way to the top. When you start from the top of the syllabus, if you scroll down, here are those learning objectives. Student will gain an understanding of hardware. Student will study various information systems. Students will demonstrate Microsoft Office. So you can read each one of those here. At the end, there is a reference to the TBR objective for this and how this particular objective relates to the overall statewide list of objectives, okay? Now, in going through this, we focus on cases, and we focus on using software applications to solve those cases, as you've done and as you're doing right now, for example, in Excel, and we're about to move into PowerPoint. But it's important that we get kind of a base knowledge, not an advanced knowledge, of things like hardware components. Now, just to be clear, at no time is there any expectation in this course that you would take apart a computer and put it back together. We will leave that for the the CITC courses, for the engineering technology courses, and for the people who are going to get more hardcore into that. From a business perspective, as the business faculty gathered and discussed this, what we realized is that you needed a rudimentary understanding of what is the hardware. If we're talking about a disk, do we know that video files, for example, maybe take a lot of storage, and something else is smaller? Where are we saving something? Are we saving it to our USB drive that you're using in class, or are you saving it into the cloud? You know, those types of things. We don't need a real in-depth understanding. When we think about, you know, software programs and common systems, what is the difference between an operating system and a software application? You know, basic difference. Am I on a Mac or am I on a Windows computer? That's really the kind of thing that we're talking about. We're not into the zeros and the ones and the bits and the bytes of anything. You may recall that when we first started talking about Word, I introduced you to how file sizes increase, and we did a really basic, you know, file where I typed the word hello in Notepad, and we saw that it was exactly 5 bytes. Then we put that into a Word document, and we saw that Word makes it a bigger file because it stores many more settings. Then we saved that as a PDF file, and we saw that that file was even bigger. That's, you know, the kind of things that we're talking about, just relative like that. Okay, so you're probably saying at this point, wait a minute, how do I study for this? How do I prepare? Or maybe, just so I don't skip too much, maybe you're saying, now when is this test and how do I prepare? Okay, well, let's talk about both of those things. In pause, at any time, whoops, here I am in my schedule. Let me go back to, just so that we're 100% clear, let's go to content, and we're in this category, syllabus, schedule, and my IT lab, and here you'll find the schedule. Oh, I'm sorry, here you'll find the schedule, right? So you can click on that. I just clicked on it, and it opens in this window. Now, sometimes it's hard to see within this little bitty window, so you'll notice at the very bottom here, it says that I can download this, and I have already done that. So if I kind of flip over here, there's my syllabus, which I downloaded, and here is my schedule. Now, we are already in the month of November, so let me scroll there. There's October. Here comes November. There's November. And what we're talking about today is this SLO quiz study tool in PAWS quizzes. And it says students can begin to prepare for the end of the semester SLO exam using this study tool. See PAWS for dates that this tool is available. So we're going to look at this tool, but what this is preparing you for is the very end of the semester. Remember, the syllabus said we're going to take this test on the last regular class meeting day. Okay, so Wednesday, December 4th, is our very last regular class meeting day. And here is the SLO test that we're going to take. It says this is the final task of the semester. Come to class. We'll take the 15-question multiple choice quiz. The test is not in pause. Come to class and you'll receive specific instructions. And that is the plan. I will give you detailed instructions, how to open it up, how to get into the system, because you have to be very, very careful with it. If you, for example, were to accidentally close your browser, that would end your test. If you were to use the back button on your browser after you've already seen the test questions, that would end your test. And that is very deliberate because we have to preserve the integrity of this testing process, because we use this data to report for accreditation purposes. In fact, we're gathering it right now because we're going into a reaccreditation process with an organization called ACBSP. You can Google that, look that up, ACBSP. Your business programs are currently accredited by, and we hope to continue that accreditation, and I believe that we will. And then As soon as we finish that, we go into SACS. It's now called SACS COC, but a lot of people recognize that name SACS accreditation. And so again, we would use this data. So you come to class, you take this test, you'll know which questions you missed, but you won't know the details. Like I can't give you a copy of the test, for example, to take with you, because if I did, then we couldn't use that test again in the next semester, because you might share those answers with somebody and it wouldn't be a true assessment of their knowledge. In the same way, we cannot consistently change the test from semester to semester, because we have to be able to compare apples to apples. We need to know that the students of this particular semester took the same test that the students of last semester took, and that the students of next semester will take. So we just need to be able to compare very consistently across time. So this is what we're preparing for. This is the one that's the 45 points that was described in the syllabus. So how then? We know when it's going to happen. We know that it's covering these 5 SLOs. We know that it's 45 points. How then do I prepare? Well, here's how. If you go to pause, come to the very top here, go to assessment. Whoops, goodness, I hit something funny. Go to assessment and then quizzes. Scroll down. And I want to point out 2 things. If you recall back from the beginning of the semester, this is the SLO pretest. Let me tell you something. This is just a copy of it. Okay, this is the exact same study tool. So I can click on this SLO practice test. Notice it says this is a study tool. There are no points, right? Go down, you can read these instructions, and I encourage you to do that. It says before you submit the quiz, you'll have the opportunity to return to questions that you have missed or not yet answered. Once the allocated period that was set for the quiz expires, you have to submit it. Okay, so you're kind of familiar with pause quizzes at this point. This is what I really wanted you to read. This quiz is a study tool. You do not earn points, but you can repeat this quiz as many times as you want to support your learning. Some of the questions are actual SLO questions, some of them. So the more times you repeat this quiz, the more likely you are to see the actual questions. Each time you finish the quiz, review your answers. Take time to study the questions you got correct. For questions you missed, research your ebook and other online resources to find the correct answer. Research your ebook or online resources to find the correct answer. It's not going to be given to it. It's not going to be given to you. You Google it, you use your book to search it, and in this way you learn. It really drives that learning home. Okay, so let me continue. I'm going to go on into this quiz. And let's just look at question. The questions are randomized. So if you are doing this, this is probably not going to be your question number 1. It says, which of the following is not a type of computer hardware? So here's this hardware question. Well, is a laptop hardware? Is a tablet hardware? Is a desktop computer hardware? Is Office hardware? Now, when we talk about Office, we are talking about the bundle of software, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, for example, and there are other software programs included. So we're talking about that. Uh-oh, what happened there? I think I'm kind of dragging my mouse. No. Do I have an error in here? Oh, okay, I'm sorry. What is going on? My time limit's exceeded. I started this earlier and I thought I submitted it. Maybe I started it again. Well, we're just going to go a little bit further. It's going to be okay. Okay. You see some of the other questions here. Your manager wants you to analyze a very large set of client billable records. He wants to know the top 10 clients sorted by the number of billable hours. You decide to pull the data into which one of these to sort and manipulate. Would you manipulate data in Word? Would you manipulate it in PowerPoint? Would you manipulate it in Windows, or would you manipulate it in Excel? And this is the last one I'm going to kind of give you. Of course, the correct answer is going to be Excel. If you're thinking Windows, if you're thinking Windows, the problem here is that Windows is not an application software. Windows is an operating system software. And so there's a difference there. You know, 3 of these things are not like this one. This one is different. It is an operating system software. PowerPoint is an application. That's why we study it in software applications for business. Microsoft Word is an application. Excel is an application, and in this case would be the best of these choices. Okay, so I could answer all these other questions, and I should go through and do that, but I'm going to go ahead and submit again. Oh, what happened there? Oh, it didn't take my change. Okay, well, that's okay. This actually, yeah, I think I did run out of time because it didn't save my answer here for question number 2. Here's what I wanted to show you. If I get a question wrong, it shows 0 points. That's how I know I got it wrong. Now, here's what I know. I know this is not the correct answer, so I can eliminate that. But what I might want to do is Google, or in my book, look up this type of information. Look up computer hardware. And if I don't find what I'm looking for, maybe I need to look up what is Office, what is a desktop, Google, is a desktop hardware, is Office hardware. I don't know. You will find it. You're going to do a little studying to ferret that out. Of course, if you don't know, you can ask me. I'll be glad to discuss these with you. So this is a study tool. Now, the best thing about this is if I click done here, because I've finished that, and I go back. See, I think I had accidentally started that quiz, so I apologize. If I go back in and I start my quiz again, which I can do this an unlimited number of times up until it's time to take the actual SLO test. So which of the following is not an operating system? Well, Apple's iOS you may know from your cell phone. And if you know it from your cell phone, if you are an Apple user, then they talk about their iOS. You might be a Microsoft Windows user, and if so, think about this. Think about that. We are studying Office. I told you that Office is a bundle of applications like Word, Excel, PowerPoint. In other words, not. Okay? And then Linux, and you could Google Linux, and you'll find that that actually is an operating system. A lot of web servers and the back-end data for companies is oftentimes on a Linux server. So what is not an operating system? I would say Office. And then again, I'm not even going to read these. I'm just going to go through. I'm normally lucky enough to get 1 right. Let's see if I can get just 1 right without reading. I know for sure I should get that first one right, so we're okay there. Okay, so I'm just doing this to answer all the questions. Let's go through, submit. There we go, submit quiz. Okay, and so here you see, this is my confirmation, the fact that I got the points for that question. This is my confirmation that I got the question right. I did not earn points because this is a study tool. There are no points to be earned by doing this study tool. The points that will be earned is when you actually take the test, because you're just studying to prepare for that test. Okay, so see, I got another one right down here. So I'd know this was the right answer, and I would say, oh, that's great, I got to remember that. You know, I did well. If not, you know, for this one, I need to research a little bit more, understand what the correct answer is, and I got to keep in mind that somewhere in here, there are actual SLO questions. So that's a good way for me to study for the test. All right. So I think what we now have come to understand is that the syllabus describes our required SLO test, describes it as 45 points. The syllabus also includes those 5 student learning objectives. That's what an SLO is, student learning objective. Our schedule shows that we'll take that test on the very last day of class. And in terms of how do you prepare, you would prepare by doing the SLO quiz in Pause, which is a study tool, searching your digital book, using the internet, because the actual required SLO test is Open Notes, Open Book. The one thing it is not is Open Neighbor. Okay, so keeping that in mind, I think you'll do well, and I hope you do. So you want to take it kind of seriously. 45 points is a little more than one of your case grades, for example. But with your study tool, with using your notes, your book, Google, I know that you can do well if you study, if you prepare. So thanks, folks, and we'll talk to you later.